Neve, you can take it over. Let me know when you want me to advance the slides.
Okay, so welcome everyone to our June 2025 webinar on attacking with same-side castle positions. So we are Puddletown Chess, and we're a registered 501c3 nonprofit to benefit young chess players in Oregon. Next slide. So these are the four founders. They are Zoe, Ishan, which is my brother, Austin, and myself. And at Puddletown, we have a few main events, which are our which are the training program, our rated tournaments, our free monthly webinars like this one, and online chess arenas slash practice sessions. We are mainly focused on helping and non-binary, which girls and non-binary people who which fall under the underrepresented category, and also low income people, as well as people located in rural areas. Over the course of Puddletown Chess, we've made a huge impact on the community. We've given away over 1,000 free tournament entries, over 1,200. We've hosted over 1,200 players between all of our events, and we've made total donations of over $60,000. These are a few interesting facts about us. So so we've made almost 90 blog posts. We've we've given away 366 trophies at our tournaments, and we've had over 14,000 interactions between all of our events. We've also had 417 pizzas given away at our events and over 90 videos on our YouTube channel, so you can also check those out after this webinar. So now a little bit about our incredible volunteers. So we have over 20 volunteers, and most of them are active scholastic chess players who are teaching classes or grading homework, which is our main focus right now because we need a lot of people with that. Here are six of our volunteers. So there's Neha, who's a level 3 coach, Ben, who's also a level 3 coach, Jamal, who's a level 3 plus coach, Jesse, who helps with our Thursday chess arenas, Karthik, who's a elite level 2 teaching assistant, and Ryan, who's a level 4 coach. There are five main types of volunteer activities, which are teaching, which is where we need the most help right now because we are trying to expand, tournament game analysis. So you can come to our monthly Saturday tournaments and help out with those, with analyzing games. You can be a chess arena leader, which happens every Thursday. You can help with homework grading, and you can help with Thursday office hours. And if you want more information on any of these, feel free to reach out to us. Our vision is to support 1,000 scholastic players reach a USCF rating of 1,000 or more. especially underrepresented, underprivileged, and underserved players. Thank you, and if you want to help out, you can do so.
All right. Thank you, Neve. So I'll stop sharing and you can take over the screen. You're a co-host now.
Okay. All right. So this webinar is about key principles of attacking on same-side castled positions. So attacking on the same side as your opponent's castled king requires careful planning and execution. The key principles include commanding the center, piece coordination, open files and diagonals, targeting weak squares, striking at the right moment, exchanging defenders, and using tactical themes. Those are the 7 key principles that we'll be focusing on today. When both players have castled on the same side, which is usually king side, the game often becomes a positional battle rather than a race to checkmate. Some of Okay, so yeah, now let's get into some of the core principles to guide your attack. First, let's talk about commanding the center. And can you all see my screen? Okay, so the first principle is commanding the center. So white's central pawns on d4 and c4 control key central squares, which are 5 and d5. The knights on c3 and the f support the center and can jump to active squares like e5 or d5 in the near future. The bishop on f1 and the queen on d1 are ready to join in on the central attack. Black's pawn on d5 is a central target and a potential weakness. So there's a few strategic ideas white can use. White can consider c takes d5 to open the c file and challenge the center, and moves like rook e1 and bishop g5, which will happen shortly, can increase king side pressure. Central, central control allows white to pivot the attack to either flank or launch a direct assault. So you can see how commanding the center can greatly help with your attack on the king side. Next is principle 2, which is using piece coordination over pawn storms. So unlike opposite side castling, where pawn sides are common, same side castling favors piece play. You have to coordinate your pieces, especially knights and bishops, to create pressure on weak squares or files. Sometimes in same side castle positions, it'll be easier to use a pawn storm, but even then, you'll still need your pieces to be coordinated. Pawn storms in the opening or middle game will never work on their own. In this position, while a pawn storm may work, coordinating the pieces will be much easier. We start with this move, setting up a Greek gift sacrifice on h7. So they defend, and then we play knight g5 to bring more pieces. So here you can see that coordinating our pieces is much easier than making a pawn break. Okay, more difficult um here's a more difficult like position example about piece coordination over pawn storms. So both sides have castled kingside here, and white has a strong center and better development. Instead of pushing pawns on the king side, white should coordinate pieces for central king side attack. So the move white will play is probably rook e1, which prefers e4, a central break, which is supported by the rook. It keeps the kingside pawn shield intact, and it allows for piece lifts like rook e3 to rook g3 and queen e2 or g4 or the queen g4 later. It coordinates with the knight on f3 and bishop on d3 for a potential kingside attack. So next, the third principle, which is about open files and diagonals. So using pawn breaks like f4 to f5 or c4 to c5 to open lines for your rooks and bishops is very important. Open files, especially the F and G files, are crucial for doubling rooks and infiltrating the opponent's position. So here F5, it like it sort of weakens black's position, so black can't take with the E pawn since it's pinned. So instead, black will probably do something like E5, and then we can play like queen f3, or we can also do queen g4. And now a more difficult example for open files and diagonals. So here, the the D file is a bit open. I mean, the E file is open, and white's rooks are ideally placed to be doubled soon and exert pressure. So the central tension, which is the pawn structure in the center, d4 and d5, invites tactical opportunities and file opening. And both kings are castle kingside, so the battle is positional. Okay, next is principle 4, which is about targeting weak squares. And you should identify and exploit squares your opponent cannot easily defend, which are often f6, h6, and g5 in kingside structures. These become ideal outposts for knights or entry points for queens. So here in this position, black played g6, which makes these three squares an even bigger target. So white plays bishop h6, and then if black tries to stop it with f5, then with queen b7, and then checkmate is coming soon. More difficult example now. So here, f6, which is usually a critical square in kingside attacks. And if black plays h6, white can consider bishop takes f6, followed by moving the knight and getting the queen into the position. And the bishop on g5 eyes f6 and pins the knight. And the knight on f3 can jump to e5 to increase pressure. And the queen can easily come into the attack after the knight moves. Did you guys have any questions so far? Okay.
It's pinned.
It's like the knight is pinned sort of like to the bishop, and it also can't move to a lot of places. So like if the knight moves, then maybe we can do it's not Black's turn right now, but like if it was, then if the knight moves somewhere, then our knight no, like we could trade and then the knight could come back, or it could also go here, or we can just kick it back with h3. Okay, so let's move on to the fifth principle, which is striking at the right moment. So timing is everything, and premature attacks can backfire. You have to wait until your pieces are well placed and your opponent has committed to a passive or weakening move. So let's say we play e5, which is threatening a Greek gift sacrifice, and black doesn't do anything about it. Then we can continue with this, and then checkmate will be coming soon. Okay, now a more difficult example. So white's bishop on g5. This
Wait,
is the knight. It's the same.
can you go back to the other one?
This.
Yeah, yes, but he can. But the guy can just move pawn to a6. No, I said pawn to a6.
There's no pawn that can move to a6.
No, actually, no. A g6.
No, it'll still be checkmate.
What about f7?
Oh, even if you move this, then it's still checkmate.
Oh yeah, I see. But what if he moves his rook?
Oh, if the rook moves, like let's say here to a, then we can take this and then do knight e6, which is threatening queen takes g7.
What
Okay,
if
any more questions?
the rook blocks the pawn?
Then queen h5 is
Like
mate.
with this? Yeah, queen h5 is checkmate. So let's move on. Okay. So the f6 and h7 squares are vulnerable. Or actually if if the knight moves, then h7 will be vulnerable. And white can prepare bishop takes f6, followed by queen or bishop d3, which puts some pressure on this pawn. And if white strikes too early, like bishop takes f6 without enough support, then the attack may go to waste. But with the rooks centralized and the queen ready to come out, then it could be then the attack could be better. So we before we take on f6, we should play bishop d3, castle, and maybe play e4 to get our rooks ready to get into the position. Any questions about this?
No. No.
Okay. Um, the sixth principle is to exchange defenders. So We should always be trying to trade off defensive pieces, like a knight guarding h7 or a bishop covering dark squares to weaken the opponent's king safety.
Or the bishop can take the knight.
Yeah, let's see. Answer here. So bishop takes f6, g takes f6, let's say, and then this is checkmate.
What if he didn't take it?
If they don't take and play something like queen g6, then we can play maybe queen h3 to get queen in.
What if he moves his rook?
If the rook moves, then we can just take this, and then it's checkmate.
Or you can move your queen to like queen d8.
Yeah. So any other questions? Okay. Yeah, it's the same position as last time. So here the bishop can trade. It's sort of like the same thing as last time. We have to get our pieces ready before we exchange the defenders and then launch an attack on the king side. So any questions? Okay. So here, the last principle is using tactical dames. So tactics like pins, forks, and sacrifices, especially on h7 and g6, are often decisive. Even in same side castling, a well-timed sacrifice can break through a solid defense. So here, white plays rook takes e7. If queen takes, then we have queen c8, and then the queen moves back, and the queen takes. And there's nothing else that um, black can do here. Like if they play queen f8, I don't know why this pawn is here. That should be a white pawn. Oh wait, no, there shouldn't be a pawn there. Just ignore this. So if that wasn't there, then we would play bishop d6. Okay. So any questions?
So back rank checkmate.
Yeah, that's the point. So like if black takes, then we have queen c8, queen e8, and then queen takes e8. It's checkmate. Okay. So here it's the same position. Like the h7 square is weak and the knight is removed, then it becomes vulnerable. And yeah, that's like a tactical opportunity there. So now I have some puzzles for you all. They might be a little bit difficult. Okay.
Neev, how do you want the people to respond to you? Personal DM or raise their hand or both?
Yes, send your answer to me in private chat, and then you can raise, and then I'll raise your hand after I say the time is over.
Sounds good. Thank you.
So this first one, actually, all these puzzles are a mix of all the um.
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
So like all these puzzles are a mix of all the printables. So you don't know which one you have to use. For this one, send like 3 moves in the private chat.
Is it white or black?
It's white to play here. I'll give you 6 minutes for this one. And for those of you who got it correct, I sent you a follow-up question. Okay, so 6 minutes is up. Anthony, do you want to explain it to everyone?
Uh, the move is bishop to e6 check. I mean, not check. Well, just bishop e6. If they take it, you play queen takes g6. And if they go to f8, then bishop h6 check. And if they go to h8, then rook to f3.
Yeah, rook f3 works. And then if bishop g7,
Then uh bishop to h6.
yeah. So what if black plays king e7 instead of taking the bishop?
Bishop to h6 check. King takes h6. Mm, Bishop takes f7, which threatens rook. Queen takes g6, so black will play rook g8. And then rook h3 check.
Yeah,
And then
that's
black,
right.
there it goes to king g7, and then we take the pawn.
Yeah, nice job, Anthony. This one was pretty hard. Let's say after another alternative after king takes h6 is knight f5, and then if they take it, then queen d2, bishop g5, and then checkmate is coming soon. So here's the second puzzle, and this one's a little bit similar to the first one. So I'll give you like 4 minutes for this one. And send your answer in a private chat. Okay, so for this puzzle, I'll explain it. So the answer is bishop h6, which is a sacrifice that exploits the position of the black bishop, which does not participate in controlling the g7 square. So if g takes h6, which is kind of the only move, then we play queen d2, and f5 is like the only move because everything else just um allows the queen, but this still doesn't really do much. So e takes f6, bishop d8, and then queen takes h6. And the threat of queen g5 with f7 next is a little bit sad for black because it's really hard to stop. So rook a7, knight g5, queen takes b5, and then f7, and short resigns here because like all of white's pieces are in on the attack, and the rook might even come next. So, did anyone have any questions about this one?
Hard luck.
What? Okay. Um, Here's the third puzzle. For this one, I'll give you 5 minutes and send your answer in the private chat. Tristan, do you have a question? Axel, do you have a question?
My chat is disabled.
In the chat, you have to press on the blue square at the top left. It says like a square with a pen in it.
Yes, you should be able to chat with Neev.
I can. Let me tell you.
Okay, so Benjamin, do you want to explain it?
Yeah, so first it's queen takes h7. That the king, of course, has to take. Or it's like mate. So king takes h7. Then rook h5 check, which checks the king from the square. And then the king, of course, has to go back to g8, as it's only square. Then knight g6, threatening checkmate on h8, but maybe rook f6 or something like that. And you take the rook with check. You take the rook.
No, if we take the rook, then king f7, then we don't have checkmate.
Oh.
So
No, we can go rook
instead,
h8 check, king f7, rook f8 mate.
Oh, I didn't see
yeah,
the other
that's the
rook
right
on
checkmate.
e1.
All right. So nice job. And also the sideline, so like if black tries to drag the game on longer with queen g2 and rook takes, rook f5, same thing. And then someone had a question about the last puzzle, so let's go back to that. Um, so instead of like f5, someone asked if the king can move to g7, but it's illegal because of the knight. So yeah. Let's move on to the next puzzle. Here it's checkmate and 3 moves. So send me all 3 moves for checkmate.
How many more puzzles will we have?
After this one, just 2 more.
One person is in my class. In this chess thing.
Arish, you have a question?
Is my answer correct?
Let me see.
Arush, you sent it to me. Could you send it to Neev also?
Oh.
All right. Um, so 1 second. Aditya, do you want to explain it?
So queen takes h8, king takes h8, and then bishop to f6 check. And then if the king goes to g8, then you can do rook to e8 checkmate.
Yeah.
Both ways.
Yeah, so like also king g8, rook e8 works. Same with queen g7, rook e8. Nice job, Aditya. That one wasn't too hard. This one is white play, and send your answer in the private chat. Give me 1 second.
Wait, what? What's happening? What is this thing? Oh, what are we doing right now? Where does
You're
it
solving this puzzle.
We're solving this. Answer 8?
What was that?
I think if I were you, I would just come deal with this room right now. already told you to be on the Sharpie. I need this cleaned up. This. This is the recipe to get it to look like it did before we worked in there.
All right. So Axel, do you want to explain it to everyone?
Yeah.
Okay.
Knight takes h7, king takes h7, queen h5, check, king g8, bishop takes g6.
Yeah, and queen takes h7 is coming soon. I mean, just queen h7 is coming soon. Nice job, Axel. Okay, for this one, I'll give you 5.5 minutes and send your answer in the private chat once you get it.
Is this our last puzzle?
Yeah, it is.
Was my answer right?
Give me 1 second.
I can't see the screen.
Yeah, give me 1 second. Okay, it should be back.
It is. Oh, sorry, excuse me. We have a conflict, and I need to go right now.
That's fine.
Okay.
Oh, thanks. Thank you.
Okay. For this one, I'll explain it. So the correct answer is rook f6, and if black takes, then we have e5, and checkmate on h7 is coming. So instead of rook f6, then king g8. This is the best move to stop any threats here. So we can still play e5 and then h6 and knight e2, and then the knight will join the attack. So black resigned. But if we start with e5, then black has f5, and now it doesn't work since it's a double attack against, because it's a discovered attack with the queen. So do you guys have any questions?
I did E5 at the first. Nope.
Okay. So those are the 6 puzzles. That's the end of our webinar.
Yeah, thank you very much, Neev. So thank you everyone for joining. So 4 reminders for you. We shared all the blogs. There's a link in the chat for all the blogs. You can check it out. And it's also easy to find on the website. From the top nav, you can find the blogs. Like Neev mentioned, there's nearly 90 different blogs on various topics. And also you can follow YouTube, Puddletown Chess, and there's many, many videos. This video also will be available there. And then anyone who's interested in volunteering for Puddletown, you need to be at least 7th grade and 1200 USCF rating to be able to volunteer for Puddletown. And then lastly, many of you sent questions for Neev. Because we ran out of time, we won't answer those here, but Neev will either write a blog or send you an email with his answers for those questions. Any other closing thoughts, Neev?
No.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.